were speaking at the end about how you were trying to speak on behalf of the cane toad, you're usually using the scientists to speak that point of view and
No.
return the discussion to some, like there's absolutely nothing you could do to contain the cane toad.
Oh, sure, but I mean, all through the portrayal of the cane toad, I mean, even in the mating sequence, our supposition is that this animal, mates in some sort of godforsaken bog hole or mud pile, and I treated that whole sequence with respect, and I made it into a romantic sequence. It wasn't only trying to take a point of view from the toad through the research or the good advice of scientists, but it was also my suggestion that this animal lives in a very ideal world, or can live in a very ideal world with lily ponds and abject beauty. So, yeah.
The question of the other, they grow to this enormous size.
They can do, yeah.
The other question, and there was a pet. I love the way that you went back to the home footage of the little girl playing with this pet cane toad, and then she's a grown-up, and you're interviewing her, and you can see that that's the same one. This thing, it was like she was petting it and scratching it and cuddling it. I mean, was that a real? I mean, that was her home footage, right?
Yeah, that was actually footage from the first film.
Ah.
So she was the little girl that we used. She was just like a poster shot. Yeah, that was Monica from the first film. And it was the only homage I paid really to the first film. I mean, there were a couple of other characters that recurred. The cranky cane farmer who said, "Send them back to Barack Obama." And whatever you said to me, you said, these people are out of their bloody mind. That guy. He came back. He was in the first film. The scientist who did the he was in the first film because he was a zoologist, and he always had a great turn of phrase in terms of how to describe the mating process and the biology, and that was important to set up the fact that they have this great propensity to mate. So the little girl, of course, that was the only footage we used from cane toads. I guess going into this film, I had to make the supposition that nobody, it was 25 years ago, you couldn't think that people were going to sit there and remember this 25-year-old film. But certainly, I'm sure there's some aficionados of the first film who may remember Monica. And, it was nice to bring her back, because what was so sweet about it, of course, was that not only was it a revisit to Dairy Queen, but the sweet thing was, as a little girl, how do you tell a little girl that her pet has died?
Yes.
And nothing's better than saying, your pet, Dairy Queen, has gone off to live in Toad Fantasyland with all those other toads. So that was very sweet. Yeah, so it's it really is a collection of vignettes. It's a collection of stories that all add up, hopefully, to some sort of totality and say something not only about us, but say something about the issue and say something about the themes.